Hello and welcome to the coverage of YCS Düsseldorf 2019 one last time. On Friday, 2 days ago, it feels like a lifetime ago to be honest, 1,700 players pre-registered for this tournament. That was a record. Actually a world record. I'm pretty certain it was a world record. So on Friday we smashed records. We were shaking, we were hoping that only 600 players were showing up on Saturday because that's the full capacity of this venue. You guys disappointed us. 1,000 additional players showed up on Saturday, so please give a big round of applause for all the players that showed up and made this the largest European tournament in history. We had to book the Hilton Hotel just to accommodate 500 more players. We shipped them out, they played a tournament there, we brought them back today, they played their final roughly 2 hours ago, and now we're here in the final of YCS Düsseldorf 1, some call it YCS 2 Düsseldorf. We got all the jokes, we cast multiply on a YCS, stuff like that. We had great stories throughout the entire weekend. One of those great stories was the world's points race. We had a couple of players, super accomplished, super consistent the entire season long, and we wanted to showcase what they can do. One of these guys was Jonas Koschel. We featured him in the very first round this weekend, and now he's back in the finals. Another guy is Tom Rose, one of the super most consistent players, in fact the reigning UK national champion, and he's also showing up in the feature match area, and I'm actually running out of questions to ask him. So, since I like a challenge, let's bring him in the red corner, Tom Rose from the UK. Hey Tom, how are you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. I've been here once before and I hope that it'll end the same way.
Is this going to be the hardest match today?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was about 6 months ago. It was a question online. It's like, who do you rate as like the best players of all time? And I was like, well, my top 5 from Europe, like 4 of them were people that everyone knew. And then I had Jonas as my most underrated guy because like, he topped YCS London at the end of 2017.
Sorry, I have to cut you off. I just love how you're saving it, because I was about to say, are you saying he's a nobody? And you immediately, he's the most underrated player. You just, man, you're giving everybody credit here that goes up against you.
He's an incredible player. He topped like almost every single event last year. I think he only missed out in Milan, but that's like 3 YCSs, Euros, and his national championships. And then this year he's been to Chicago and topped there. He's topped here. Like, the man's unstoppable, but I'm hoping that I'm the guy to upset that trend a bit, I guess.
You guys can tell that Tom has been working on commentary. He's actually doing the introductions of the other guy in the finals. I think you're just doing this to give him more confidence, so he's getting overconfident and you can beat him because he's too overconfident in the finals. Is that your strategy, Tom Rose?
No, I just think he's a great player. I'm looking forward to playing against him.
All right, please have a seat. Thank you very much. His opponent, we heard it, Jonas Koschel from Germany. Hey, welcome back to the feature match. You got the hometown advantage. There's a couple of Germans in the room. And Tom Rose does this. Are you overconfident right now?
Nah, not really. I hope to get a great match. And yeah, I can't say anything. Whatever I say, it doesn't matter because he had the better speech.
Oh, whoa. Are you afraid going up against Tom Rose?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
He made it to the final, so he can't be that bad.
Oh, that's a humble brag for yourself. Are you happy with your deck choice this weekend?
Yeah, the deck was really good, and
the more important question, are you happy with his deck choice for the weekend?
I don't know. Not really.
Not really, is what I was guessing. I guess this is built to beat you, but we've seen it before, just in the other final. The deck where the player actually said, I wish I would have played the other deck, he ended up winning. So you might be doing the same. And as we said, you're super consistent. The only thing missing for you, no pressure, is a YCS championship title. So please have a seat. So this is what it's all for, the winner trophy. We also have prize cards, of course. I got them here. It's still Chaos Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon. Of course, both of the YCS we have been running this weekend are having the same prize support. So even though the one is 4 times larger than the other, you still get the same prizes, but different points. So that's good news for you because you guys are all about the points, I guess. So please perform the die roll. High roll. Tom is rolling a 6. Jonas has got a 5. Yeah, no pressure, no waiting there. Tom immediately goes, I go first. All right, guys. It's not a secret. Yeah, you're right. Okay, Can we hear it one more time for our finalists of the largest Yu-Gi-Oh tournament in Europe? I think the crowd is ready for this. I think the players are ready for this. I just have to hear one more time who the crowd is with. So who wants Tom Rose to win? Who wants Jonas Koschel to win? It's really hard to tell, to be honest. Okay, I'm not going to do it one more time. Let's take it away, guys. We got Daniel Neville and we got Marcello Barbarian commentary.
Welcome one more time to the coverage of YCS Düsseldorf. We're here, we are at the finals. We could be just as excited as we can. It's going to be an incredible match.
Like we said last round, we have two titans of the game. They're playing it out and it's going to be amazing. And we have it again. This is literally two of the best players on two of the best teams in Europe. We have E-Man Games versus TKB. This is going to be a massive game. This could be one of the biggest YCS games that we've seen.
Definitely, and it's even more surprising when you consider that this is 2000 and plus event. So these guys managed to go across this huge field, and to get such a skill and impressive finals with such a large field is not something that you see every day.
Exactly, and I think it might be worthwhile that we take a look quickly at what the field looked like.
So let's see the country breakdown for the event at the beginning. So this is what it looks like. We had over 1,400 players from Germany go to the event, which is incredible. It's more than the average YCS we have ever heard in Europe. So congrats to them. But among those 112 duelists from UK, Tom Rose was there, and he climbed his way against all these other countries to be here in the finals. And about decks though, this is what it was looking like in round one. So
you know, this is top 32, but from the very start of the event,
this is what we was having, exactly.
A vast majority of Salamangreat, and that's represented at the table. 50% of our remaining players are playing Salamangreat, and ironically, 50% of our remaining players are also playing the Orcust deck, which isn't even on the list
and that's the most impressive thing. Not only Tom Rose is one of the few UK players here, he's one of the few Orcust decks. It was among the other, and now he's in the finals. We've seen two Orcust decks in the top four, and let's take a look at how the things changed at the beginning of day two. So we had over Germany, of course, still dominating, but 1,200 players were knocked out. United Kingdom suddenly going to second place, and that is still Tom Rose among them, but still a lot of different countries. United States was looking very good. We had a few players even in the top cut, so that's quite impressive.
Exactly, there's some great representation across the event.
Exactly. Well, if we take a look at decks again, it's pretty similar, but now we do see the Orcust deck.
Exactly. The Orcust has just jumped from being in the other category all the way up to the middle of the list. Salamangreat still doing really well at this event. And then we have Thunder Dragons and Sky Striker, which are decks that we were expecting. And then Subterror in between. Subterror is a really cool deck. Guru has given a lot to it. And we saw it a few times on stream over the weekend.
If it's pretty easy to predict that in a 2,000 people event, the meta and the format is going to be wide, well, our top 64, both for players and for decks, was the same. So for players, we see 34 duelists from Germany, still looking really good, and United Kingdom still holding the second place along with my fellow Italians, so looking pretty good. But when we see the decks, it's even more impressive. So Salamangreat is still at the first place, but Danger Orcust, there are only 2 players out of 64. But do you remember what happened?
I think there are 2 Danger Orcusts here, which was Ping Xiao and Tom Rose. They ended up playing against each other in the first round of Top Cut, and it was teammate versus teammate. Tom managed to beat Ping, and Ping said, "I've taught you everything I know, go on and win the event."
Exactly, and Tom is trying to do that. So out of these duelists, we've seen 2 Dangers Orcust in the top 4 with Dinka and Tom, and now we're only left with the finals. It's Germany against United Kingdom, Salamangreat against Orcust. There is nothing more to say. Let's begin this incredible final.
Okay, so Tom is starting. He has Engage in hand. This is really nice. We do see an Ash Blossom and a Phantasmi in Jonas's hand. So we are going to actually see interaction here.
Yes.
Are we going to see Ash fall on the engage? No, Jonas knows what's up. Hitting the engage here is not what he wants to be doing. He needs to be saving it for the Nightmare Mermaid. That's the key part of Tom's combo. Tom is probably aware that his opponent may have interaction, so what he's going to be looking to do is to try and find ways to bait it out. He also will try and find other ways to get his Orcust Nightmare into the graveyard if possible. So he is going to summon Kagari.
That's exactly the case, but we know that a Sky Blaster is in Tom hand, which means that it is going to be devastating, because now we can get 3 tokens out.
He has 6 monsters on board. That is incredible. And he has the Sky Blaster tokens from the classic tins. Very nice. So we are going to see a Link 2.
Yes.
And presumably he is going to summon a Nightmare here, but he could also go into something like Space Insulator, but...
Sure. He goes for what's probably going to be Cerberus,
yeah.
gets his less usable in this matchup. Then Cerberus turns into Mermaid, and we should see an Ash Blossom come down from Jonas here.
This is what you are wanting to ask. He's discarding Nessie. He's saying, is that okay? And Jonas is going to look at the graveyard, and he's like, you know, this is super important because we don't know how much Jonas has tested against the Orcust deck, and we don't know if he understands how important this interaction can be. If he doesn't Ash this here, then Tom is going to be able to end on everything.
And he does not Ash, and the thing is, even if Jonas is one of the players that test a lot, and he prepares like for hours and hours, you can't not know what's going on with Tom Rowe's deck, because Orcust, sure, we've seen a version of the deck at YCS Chicago, but this is completely different. So it's not something that you would come up across like playing regionals or something like that. It's quite a unique deck.
Well, if you were playing regionals in the UK, you would have come across Tom. And there was a slow drip as people realized, hey, wait, Tom Rose isn't playing Burning Abyss at regionals? Of course, these players have been playing in different parts of Europe.
Yes.
So while they've both been playing large events, Jonas doesn't know what's up. Now, Tom can trip up if when he summons his Rusty Bardice, he doesn't set the Phantom Knight's rank up magic off it, then he could be in a spot of bother because Ash could resolve on his Phantom Knight monster in graveyard. So we see Nightmare Phoenix coming out.
Yeah, he can't summon it in that zone, so Jonas is correct. I mean, a little bit of pressure is fine. Yeah. So now...
I mean, if I'm Tom, I'm very excited here because I'm looking at the board and I'm like, my opponent hasn't done much.
Yeah, even though you really don't want to summon the Phoenix there. So I think Tom got a little too excited, and you can see he regretted going into that play because now he's locked out of the extra deck zone. And a little bit of a misfortunate thing.
Yeah, so what he's wanting to go into here is his Summon Sorceress, if possible. He's kind of looking at his cards, and he seems pretty frustrated with what's happening.
Yeah, he's definitely frustrated with what happened. I'm not sure why he rushed into the Phoenix afterwards. He could have still played it underwards the Mermaid, but now he is committed probably into a decode if he wants, or like space,
He has the problem that he has a lot of cards here. So he's going to have to
he can go into Sorceress, but now he needs to free the zone as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And now we're waiting to see, and a Phantasmi comes down. This seems quite preemptive in my mind.
Yes, because I mean...
Okay, he is most likely digging for Effect Failure here.
I'd say so.
To Failure to summon Sorceress.
Even though there was a moment in which you could have played it just before, so...
Yeah. Double Salamangreat Circle is not what I am looking for here. You definitely keep one. It looks like he's after keeping the 2 of them, which is a good call because if he knows what's going on, then he knows that his opponent is trying to just lock him out of the game on the monster side of things.
So now we see Space Insulator, which will come in handy later, and we get to see...
Okay, so we have gone on quite an adventure in order to summon our Link 2 monster.
It was quite unfortunate because he had a lot of resources, but since he basically messed up with the Phoenix, he was forced to use a lot more resources than needed to go for this. But now he's still able to, and as we know, Phantasma can only negate cards if they target you, otherwise it would have been able to negate Sorceress.
Yeah, And so it is a case that Tom has made a mistake here. He needs to focus himself, he needs to calm down, and he needs to get back on his game plan. And that seems to be what he's doing. He's banishing his Orcust Nightmare, and he's ahead of where he wants to be in his combo anyway, so he's not too worried because he gets to summon this Harp, and then he'll be able to bring back another level 4 later in the combo if he wants.
Yes. It is just that he could have had a little bit more. Like, for example, when we saw Tom play against Dinka, he was able to open with the Decode Talker, which also outscars like Twin Twisters and Dino Wrestler. So he might not be able to do the full, but he surely has access to the rank up combo.
Yeah, so are we going to see an Ash on the Harp Power? Jonas says no, that's totally fine. And that's completely reasonable. I don't think the Harp Power is a very scary threat here. If Tom isn't able to end on his Azatoth combo, kind of wondering what he will want to go into. The fact is that the Salamangreat deck is still going to have difficulty dealing with any established board that Tom has, as we've seen throughout the weekend. And that's probably why the deck is quite well positioned at the moment.
Yeah, basically, I think Jonas is holding the Ash for the Rusty.
Yeah. Tom is shuffling Galtea, and he's going to grab Orcusted Return, most likely, so that he can send a wand, because he doesn't need it to make his Rusty Bardice. I believe Bardice sends by effect, so he would be able to Ash Blossom the Bardice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure that's what Jonas is holding it. But the really good news for Thomas is that he has a Silent Boots.
Yes.
So if that happens, then he can just special summon the Silent Boot, and he can still get to the full combo.
As long as he links away, he's fine.
Yes.
There's a possibility that Tom might try summoning a Break Sword here, as he has a level 3, and then he also has the Silent Boots.
And yeah, as predicted, Ash Blossom comes down.
Tom's like, that's cool. Not terribly surprised.
Yeah, because now he has the Silent Boots, and that's a huge deal. And
we are
he's going
for
to see the
Unicorn. Or yeah, Decode would definitely
makes
make
more sense, yeah.
Okay, so he summons the Decode. He has the Phantom Knight in Graveyard, and he has the Symbols in Graveyard, which means he can summon.
And he has the Wand as well, so.
Yeah, so he can summon a Harp, and he can get his. He can get Redoer on the board, even if he might not be able to get his Phantom Knight's rank up magic. He can also Jackalope here if he wants. He is going to Jackalope.
Yeah, he has a lot of options.
So Jackalope, 50-50 says Tom. Roll the dice. We get a tree. Hits Ash Blossom. Jackalope summons. Draws a card.
And that's really unfortunate for Tom, because he was looking to discard Jackalope to get the Chupacabra from deck.
Exactly.
And then he would have been able to do the full combo. But he misses the 50-50, and now you can see he's quite worried about that.
Yeah. He knows that he can still summon his Redoer.
Yeah.
But it is a case that he has difficulty in setting up the Azatoth. That said, Redoer plus Decode Talker could still be enough in this matchup. The Phantasmi is definitely a problem because it is just a big body on board.
Sure. Because now he gets a free pop, and...
He gets a free pop, so he can target Phantasmi. Phantasmi can discard another card in order to negate this. We still don't know what card was drawn off Danger Jackalope, but it could be relevant. If it's something like a Fog Blade, that's quite nice for Tom.
Yeah. He doesn't use the Rusty.
No, because the problem is if he uses the Rusty, then the Phantasmi will be able to just destroy it. And look, he's in a great position here. He'll be able to Redoer effect. He can take the card after the Phantasmi, and then the Redoer is just, like, it's such a good
It is such a good generic rank 4.
Particularly when you can make it using Rusty Bardice. But also, if you're taking cards from your opponent's deck, if you take some key combo pieces, it can cause problems for them.
Yes.
Like, if he takes a Salamangreat Falco, or if he takes a Jack Jaguar, or something like his Rage, that would be really massive. He's going to summon back Galtea. I know he is looking at his banished cards.
Yes, and he ends his turn, so definitely not the opening he was looking for, but it's still a little bit of a deal, and Time Thief is going to be used here.
Yeah, in the standby phase, he is saying, I would like the top card of your deck, please, sir.
And if it is a trap or a spell, it's going to be a huge deal.
Yeah. Monster card is fine too, but trap or spell
But yeah,
is very
you don't really want to get that.
And it is a Gazelle. That's an interesting pickup. It means that he doesn't want to use his Redoer necessarily this turn because of... He doesn't want to put the Salamangreat Gazelle into Jonas's graveyard. It's important to just keep track of the fact that Orcusted Babel means that Tom does have quick effects that he's able to use, and he potentially has some form of interaction. We don't know how familiar Jonas is with his list.
But yeah, it is going to be tough to deal with the board, but it's definitely not as scary as the typical Orcust board. And
yeah, and Tom's kind of putting his head in his hands saying, how did I mess that up?
It's definitely a bad feeling when you open very well in the finals and then for some reason something goes wrong. Yeah. I mean, I hope that he will not tilt too much, even if he would lose this game in the end.
No, he's good at managing his emotions.
Yeah.
As most of the
players,
kind of competitive players are at this stage. But it's definitely a very important part of high-level tournament play, is being able to recenter yourself when you make these mistakes and being able to kind of calm your mind and say, hey, look, I made a mistake, but I'm still in this game, and I'm still in this match.
Yeah.
And believing that you are the person that's going to win the event is definitely...
Yeah, because we're still human, so these events are very long, and it's not always up to you as well. Yeah. You have some tilting scenarios where it just depends on what your opponent does, or maybe rolling a dice on a danger. So you have to accept the fate and the little percentage of luck that is involved with any card game, really.
I mean, that's part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I agree to disagree.
Otherwise you play chess.
Sure.
Like, there is excitement to going, activate Jackalope. Do you have a response? So we are seeing the Salamangreat deck.
So Rage is sent to the graveyard.
So Foxy is less good here, right? Because Decode Talker will be able to negate its activation, if I'm not mistaken.
It does not target.
Does Foxy not target? It just destroys a face-up?
Yeah, because it also activates Engrave, doesn't it? Yeah, it does not target.
Yeah, okay. Non-targeted destruction is always
It's pretty good,
nice.
yeah. And that's why you've seen Jonas avoid to use the Excavate free effect.
Yeah. I don't think Tom cares terribly about his Orcusted Babel. We're going to bring it up here so you guys can read it.
Sure.
It lets him use his monster's effects as quick effects. In response to a Foxy, I'm probably expecting Galtea to shuffle back and let Tom add Orcusted Return to his hand. But yeah, Babel will just add itself back if he wants it for the following turn. And it's unlikely that on this board Jonas is capable of pushing through sufficient damage against Tom. So Tom is showing the Orcusted Return.
Yes.
Which again, it's not doing much here at the moment, but realistically it can draw him some cards.
It's a pretty good card for next turn, let's say.
Yep.
Because as we said multiple times this weekend, Tom deck is different from the usual danger deck in the sense that he has a lot more dangers and he will be able to use the entire engine next turn again.
Exactly.
Which is a pretty big deal here.
We see Salamangreat, Roar, and Rage available.
Yeah.
Roar isn't too big of an issue because Decode is able to say, no, we're not
Rage,
dealing with that. But Rage can be a problem for Tom here.
The thing is, he can get to clear most of his board by just negating the code if that's the case.
Yes,
so.
exactly. And that is the thing that Tom has to be concerned
And
about.
decode is going to be quite annoying because even Stalio does target, but
Yes.
if he's able to put it in a chain link to make decode unable to negate the Stalio, then that could also be a pretty big deal.
I think the scariest thing on Tom's board from my point of view at the moment is certainly the Phantom Knights of Rusty. Rusty Bardies is the kind of most active engine piece that he has in play at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think if Tom is going to end the game on the subsequent turn, he's going to be doing that with Rusty's help.
So now we see the Jack Jaguar being used. Just the usual play from Salomon.
Tom's like, yep, that's sure. That's fine. Do you think Tom should have just held the Jackalope and not gone for...
No, it makes sense because if he got it, he would have gone for the rank up play.
Yeah.
So it perfectly made sense. It was overall a 50-50. Let's remember that could have completely changed this game around because then Tom would have been able to use the full combo. And
yes, for sure.
Jonas would have been in trouble.
It is a toss-up where he's saying, I value the full combo more than having a single Ash. And I think that's reasonable, but it definitely is a tough decision that you have to make.
If the other card wasn't an Ash Blossom, it wouldn't even be a concern.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're still going to go for it. And it's unfortunate that Ash got discarded.
Yeah. But again, this is very much anybody's game at the moment.
Because on the other end, Jonas is now able to get back the Ash from grave, which he did. So he has one interruption for next turn, which could block the chain of Orcust cards.
So while she is linked with a monster, she cannot be destroyed by battle, I believe.
Yes.
But she is not currently linked because neither of the monsters are pointing to each other. Yeah. So we have quite a chock-a-block board at this stage. There's cards everywhere.
Yeah.
So Decode Talker is currently 3,300. Jonas is going to summon Heat Leo.
We see Heat Leo is going to spin back the Orcust return.
Yeah. And we've not seen Heat Leo much at all this weekend. It's generally been a case that Sunlight Wolf has been sufficient.
If he uses his effect, though, Decode can negate. So
Decode's going to say, no, thank you.
Though, since he used the Stalio, he could chain.
Yes.
So Thomas could only negate the Stalio effect, and the return is gonna be away. And now Jonas is trying to go for the OTK.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Tom currently only has an Orchestrated Nightmare in his hand, which is not really something that you want in your hand in this deck.
What I'm wondering, though, is, it's gonna be tough, but he can definitely do it, so
Salamangreat Sanctuary is in play. Heat Leo is on the board. Jonas is like, I think I've got this game.
But it needs the Fusion of Fire, which right now it's missing, right?
Yep, he does not have Fusion of Fire at the moment.
Because with Fusion of Fire, we've seen with Weekend, he can basically OTK any monster on the field. And that's basically the best part of the Salamangreat deck going second, as well as being just a great card in general for the mirror match. Since it says that you can use materials from both sides.
Heat Leo beats up Galatea. Tom is going to take some damage there from that battle.
Yeah, but it seems like that's all he has to do. So he's going to set both Roar and Rage, and play is going to be back to Tom.
I mean, setting Roar and Rage is not a bad start.
Not at all.
The Decode Talker is currently turned off. So what Tom's going to do is he's going to banish his Redoer, and then he's going to summon it back so his Decode points.
Yeah, that's a very good play, because now Decode is buffed, and he can actually even negate. He has the option to use the Redoer on the standby phase.
Exactly. So I think you're going to take that option, unless you're really afraid of letting your opponent negate its activation.
but rage happens,
Yeah.
and we can bring it out. So since it says destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number, he can actually destroy up to 3 cards right now.
Yes. Tom, however, only has 2 cards on the field. It doesn't target, which means Decode Talker isn't able to do anything.
Yeah.
It only targets your Link monster as opposed to...
Yeah, so
the
Decode
opponent's
can negate, and now he's staring at it, Leo, Ash Blossom, and Roar, which is quite a bad position. He did draw the Kaiju though, which is a big deal because it would shut down the Roar, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. If Tom can find enough action in his graveyard, then he'll be able to Radiant over the Heatleo and then try and get into a Boar.
But the problem is he drew, I mean, he had the second Orcust Nightmare in his hand.
Yes, yeah.
And it could get shut down by Ash Blossom right now. So let's see what Jonas wants to do.
If Jonas lets this true, it could be quite big for Tom because he will then be able to go into his...
Yeah, and it's well played here by Tom to use the Orcust before the Kaiju to prevent some information.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work out as planned because Jonas flips the Roar.
Yeah. Tom's not terribly happy about that. He knew it was there, but he was hoping that Jonas wouldn't use it.
Definitely not, because otherwise he would have gone for the Kaiju first. Well, now Jonas gets to keep his Ash Blossom.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really have much going on. There are a lot of draws in his deck, so he gets impermanence, not quite. So he will have double interruption plus the Kaijus, which is 2800. So.
Yeah. And again, we're seeing Kaijus kind of turning on the person that summons them. Like this Radiant is, sure it removes the Heatleo, but it's also presenting quite a clock.
It
against
is.
Tom.
It is basically a 3-turn clock without any other cards, but he's gonna normal summon Ash Blossom, and very nice play because now he gets the Hita. Hita will be able to summon back a Fire Monster from grave, which is the Ash Blossom from Tom.
And then he's going to go Link again, using the 2 Fire Monsters.
Because now he can get back to Sunlight Wolf. Very nice play from Jonas, recognizing this line of play. Because now he is able to use the Field Spell and basically go back to the same engine, get back all the trap cards.
For sure. Tom.
And it's looked like, yeah, Tom picks up his cards. So game 1 goes to Jonas. Wow.
That's quite frustrating for Tom there. It definitely is
frustrating.
A game.
You can see he's not happy. He could have definitely took the game by a blast if he didn't mess up the order with the Mermaid. You can take a look at the situation
massive
here.
crowd here.
Massive
These
crowd
guys
watching,
have
massive
been
crowd cheering.
Amazing. And we're really anticipating. Wow, that is teamwork right there.
It is, it is. And
so what do you think these guys are going to be siding here? Presumably Tom is planning on going first?
yes, so Tom wants to go first. He wants to do the same thing he did, but better. So he's gonna side in probably Call by the Grave, which is a great card for going off, as well as preventing the opponent from playing.
Yeah.
So that's the priority.
Called by the Grave, Magical Midbreaker Field, those are the cards that I'm looking at. Very lively crowd today.
Very lively crowd. And we're gonna see Oliver throwing packs at the crowd. So if you didn't have a reason to go and watch a YCS live, now you have even more. You might get some free packs. So
that's pretty good to me. I'm gonna go down and join the crowd.
Yeah, and that's why he gets this is all for Oliver. So also a quick reminder, both of these players have phenomenal seasons, and no matter how it ends, if Thomas wins, he would be a 3-time champion, while Jonas has been very close. He got to the finals of the German Nuts this year, and he's very close, but he never really won a tournament.
Exactly.
So he's angry for that, and we can see that in his eyes. Yeah. So
both of these guys really want this. I mean, they've come all this way. You're not going to settle for second place.
For sure. But you could argue that the first win is even more
Yes.
than the third, in a sense. Like, you're even more hungry for that win. And I'm sure Jonas definitely wants to hang in there. He's gonna be siding drone and locking, whatever, but at this point you can see the crowd is going crazy. We are going crazy.
He's going to bring in Pranker Tops and Twin Twisters to out Azathoth, possibly. But I don't think Azathoth is the key concern here. I think, realistically, the Salamangreat deck can do a lot anyway. We have Ollie just running about.
Yes, let's just focus on the crowd for
speed
now.
duel decks to the crowd.
Speed duel deck for the crowd, nice presence, and
so we see a bunch of UK guys here. We see a bunch of German guys here. Everybody supporting their players, supporting their locals. I mean, after all, these guys were in the finals of each of their national championships this year.
yes, they are massive crowd favorites, so
Yes. So game 2, Tom's going first.
there he goes. Round of applause, nice. And we start with game 2. So Tom opens up the Neospace connector, which is a huge deal. And he still has some extenders in the form of dangers. So
Yeah, so he has Neospace Connector, which means he can clear hand traps. As it is, Jonas just doesn't have any monster cards in his
and
hand.
now he's in trouble. So no hand traps, no interruptions, unless anything goes wrong. We'll be able to see the full combo from Tom Rose this game. So
Yes.
let's see.
So Tom summons his Dolphin. We have a question, is he going to just discard Tsuchinoko to guarantee the summon? He doesn't care that he doesn't hit here
Yeah.
because it just means it's guaranteed Tsuchinoko instead of a possible Tsuchinoko.
So he gets the Tsuchinoko, unfortunately, but it will not matter. Like, his hand is still good enough. And he will be able to use the Dolphin right now, discarding the R-Potter. No monsters, though.
Tom's like, I want to read this card. Or he's doing something. Saying
Okay.
Circle, circle, will, uncalled by. He knows what his opponent has.
Yes.
He knows what he needs to play around. He's going to link to. Let's do
Nai
it
is
properly
gonna
this
make
time,
his
Mr.
Cerberus.
Rose.
Yes.
Okay, go Cerberus. Cerberus is going to go into Mermaid. Mermaid is going to resolve this time. He is going to discard
Yes.
Harparer, perhaps? No, he discards the other Neospatian.
Yeah, it's
Our
kind of a
Neospace.
redundancy, so it makes sense. And now he's gonna go for the full combo.
Yes.
There is no more interruptions, and
Summons Galtea. We're going to banish Harparer. He doesn't need to banish the Nightmare because he already has the Harparer in graveyard.
yes.
Harparer is, of course, going to summon a Skeleton, and Skeleton is going to link away to make the Summon Sorceress. No fear of hand traps here. We've already seen everything.
We know how this is going, and
Summon Sorceress.
we're
enters
gonna
the battle.
see the Galatea shuffling back the Skeleton as well. So this is the normal combo. We're gonna get the one from the deck, so
This is actually because Tom was able to get onto 3 monsters with this combo. It's
Yes.
the better combo where he doesn't have to ever go into Shade Brigandine, which means as well as having Azathoth, he's also going to have things such as Fogblade
Yes.
for backup. And these Fogblades are actually quite storied because back in 2016 at YCS Liverpool, they're
Oh,
the
yeah.
same Fogblades he played in the finals of that event.
I remember that because I was playing against him in top 8, so I definitely remember those
Yeah.
fog blades. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's been 2 years since he was this far into a YCS, and he has finally gotten a big top
Yes.
in recent memory with a deck that's not Burning Abyss. So that's quite exciting for him. As much as he loves BA, it's not something that, you know, I don't know how much
you have
players want to be
to-
typecast.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It is cool to just keep trying to change the deck, but then when it's time to say goodbye, it's just time to say goodbye. And it seems like he found a new love with this Orcust deck. So
I mean, as we saw with Tom, he said goodbye to BA after Liverpool for a while, and then he picked it back up again.
yeah.
It's less goodbye and more see you later, you know?
And you never know with BA. It's
With
been around for
BA,
like
it's-
5 years. So
yeah.
now let's see.
Get a rank up Magic. Tom's just getting all of the good stuff. He
Yes.
is just like, And look how focused he is.
It is
They
super
have been
focused, yeah.
laughing and having a good time here, and it looks like it's a really fun game. But at the same time, he's like, okay, we're not messing it up this time. We're going for game. We are winning this event.
Yes.
Jonas is sitting there, and he's just kind of like, we'll have to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah, he
when it
needs
gets
to
around to
draw
our turn.
some of the side deck cards he has. He didn't draw the draw, obviously, which would have been really bad against the connector anyway, so he's happy he didn't draw that. But he does have Twister and Dino Wrestler, because unless Tom is somehow able to go into Decode, then that's still a possibility.
Yes, exactly.
Because if Tom actually opens with Decode, then there is no out in Jonas' deck for this entire field. So
Yeah. And Tom draws an Ash Blossom, which means he also has interaction to deal with the Salamangreat Circle.
sure.
Which is quite nice. It just extra assurance. And we have Harpar on the field. Tom is thinking, do I want to summon this Boots?
I think it makes sense, because then you can just go into the Decode right now.
Yeah.
And that makes the most sense with Decode. He turns off the only outs Jonas has in his deck, which are Twister and Pancratops. So that makes a lot of sense.
This is pretty good. It is looking very favorable for Tom here.
Definitely looking good for Tom.
However, even if he is to win this game, he's going to have an uphill battle going second
sure.
against Salamangreat.
So now we see the usual combo.
Time Thief arrives and then like, catch you guys later. Be right back. Time Thief, again, I've said it multiple times, but it's such a great card
Yes.
at the moment. It does so many interesting things.
And now we're gonna see how it ends. Jonas picks up Impermanence, but it's not really relevant at the moment, so whatever he chooses to activate, we will get met with a rank up spell. So let's see.
And worst case scenario, Tom can always just get rid of his Phantom Knights if he wants to negate the impermanence effect.
Exactly.
So it's not even threatening his spell and trap cards.
And
You
you
will
can't
notice-
even impermanence the Azathoth, let's remember.
Exactly. Because Azathoth just applies a condition on its summon. It doesn't have an activated effect.
Yes, so
Something cute that Tom has done is he has played around Mech Knights, and that is good life advice for everyone.
yes. Not as relevant now as in the past, but
Oh.
definitely something to keep in check for the following events.
It's a good habit. You never know when it's going to pop up again.
Yes. So Jonas uses the circle most likely in the draw phase.
Yeah.
It
He's
would
going to
seem.
grab Gazelle.
He summons the Gazelle,
And Tom goes-
rank up is flipped. So Azathoth comes down. He will have a pop from the Rusty as well, and it's looking very bad for Jonas. He's thinking about it, so
They can impermanence the Rusty, but Decode will just protect the Rusty's effect by tributing it.
yeah. So Gazelle is gone. He can will of the Salamangreat something, but it doesn't seem like it is gonna help. But of course, Jonas is gonna try and hang in there.
Tom says that's okay. Jonas summons his Spinny.
Something really important, though, that we have to keep in mind is that this duel is taking a while.
Yeah.
So if they would ever go to time during this duel and they go 1-1, then we get to roll the dice again, and that could be a huge deciding factor for game 3.
Yeah.
Because then we might see Thomas Rose going first again. So
I mean, so this is why Tom is playing Black Ship of Corn, because it gives you
Yes.
access to direct damage in the scenarios where you are tight on time. Of course, the
Exactly.
deck also has a lot of combat damage, but combat damage is less.
yeah, less effective, let's say.
Okay.
So
Tom
now
draws.
Jonas just passed on a Bale Links and 4 backers, sure.
Called by the Grave is going to target the Harpar. Tom's like, that's fine.
Tom doesn't really care, but
I think the first thing that I'll be doing here is attempting to activate Rusty Bardice.
he does pick up an Engage, which is pretty much useless at this point, but
Engage was already in his hand. He drew Nessie for turn.
okay.
Yeah. And Nessie is quite interesting because Nessie, as we've seen, can just draw him into further advantage. Like you just said, Engage is pretty useless here. So I'd be quite happy to swap it out for a monster on board and a card draw. So Tom has a lot of options here. He could go and try to go into Trisbayana, but that is generally much better against a deck like Sky
He has
Striker.
to be careful though, because you're in a great spot, so you don't want to mess this up. And we know that things could actually get ugly, because if you were to activate Rusty, for example, and then Impermanence comes down, and maybe the Roar as well, then we're playing this game. And
so this is really good for him because he gets to summon Nessie under his decode. And this means that Roar and Impermanence are both in check, which means that he can actually start establishing a board now. And I think he's gone from being in a decent position to being in a favored position.
Yes, this Nessie was definitely super important. Unlike game 1, he kept the Ash Blossom in his hand, so it's definitely big deal.
Okay, he drew Skeleton. That's a lot better.
Oh,
the Heart Power wasn't great. The Skeleton lets him
He
go
drew the one Skeleton, which Jonas basically banished the order with Call by the Grave to avoid them getting it. So
Impermanence targeting Decode. I think you just sacrifice your Nessie here.
Do you? Because then you get roared, though.
No, because if you sacrifice the Nessie, then you can just send the Bardice.
Why don't you just swing with everything? Seems like a good plan, honestly. It's a lot of damage, so...
When in doubt, go face, I guess. That's good.
And that's enough. So, wow, we are going to game 3. Congratulations for Thomas. Now we are going to see a last duel. We don't have a lot of time left, so it's going to be interesting. Such an incredible match for now.
This is super intense. So what is Tom bringing in here? Tom is bringing in reboots. Or is he bringing in reboots? He's super tight on time. I think the cards we're going to see is as many Kaijus as he can. And Magical Midbreaker Field, the audience are enjoying themselves.
Yes.
Without a doubt. And I hope you guys are joining in the Mexican wave at home because, you know.
You should.
You should, yeah.
But yeah, there are only one game left in this huge event that has been going on for 2 days. 2 different YCSs in the same city, something that's never happened before.
The largest European event that we have ever seen.
So now don't go away, don't go pick something to eat, don't go to the bathroom either. Just stay here and stay focused on this game because it will be the last game of the weekend.
It's all to play for. Like, legitimately, either player could win this.
Oliver is back at throwing packs at the crew.
Yep. Have you ever been to the aquarium? You know when they have the seal show and they throw the seals?
Oh, yeah.
It's.
I mean, are you calling Oliver a seal then?
Yes. That's exactly. Danger Oliver, question mark.
So more packs for the crowd.
Okay, Oliver is swiftly retreating. Okay.
Nice mini game right there, and we're quickly and soon gonna go to game 3. So one round of applause. Let's go.
We're ready to go. Jonas is most likely going to go first here.
Yes, for sure. He wants to set up his field. He has a Beast Dweller, which is a huge deal against Thomas' deck.
Exactly,
so he definitely wants to start things off with a Beast Dweller plus the Roar, for example. That is the ideal opening.
We are not quite ready yet.
Okay.
We are going to be entertained by the crowd, apparently. So, yeah. I mean, Salamangreat is definitely going first here. Do you keep in any of your side deck cards? Do you keep Twisters or Reboots or anything like that, do you think?
If you're the Salamangreat?
Yeah, as the Salamangreat player.
Not really. I wouldn't say
Just
so.
go back to your base deck.
Yes. It really depends on how much time is left. And it seems like we only have 1 minute left, which is a huge deal because it would mean that we're going to see time being called in this game for sure.
100%. Tom has a decent hand here. He has Called by the Grave. He has Twin Twisters. These are cards.
Who do you think is going first? Because if Jonas might actually, yeah, I think he let Thomas go first.
If you let Thomas go first, this could be a terrible mistake Okay, Thomas
Oh
is saying
my.
set a monster. Set 2. Ooh.
No, he
This is
did
not looking
break. That's not
good.
something we expected. Oh mine. His deck is full of extenders and
He opened Heart Skeleton. Says pass turn. His opponent draws. It's going to activate Circle.
as you said, that might have been a huge mistake because Tom sides in number 50 Blackhorn, and
Exactly.
he would have been able to win the game with a combination just like with
Summon
Sorceress.
Sorceress,
Yes.
exactly.
Summon
exactly.
Sorceress plus Blackhorn would have been enough to win the game, but unfortunately his deck turns him down right at the end.
Okay, he can hit to Spinny here, though, and that
Yeah.
could be very big. It's going to say, Called by the Grave, target your card.
But now the
Gazelle.
Gazelle comes down.
The crowd are loving
The crowd
it.
is going crazy. Wow.
Send Jackal. We are very tight on time. Is Jonas going to be able to get into battle phase? That's time on round.
That's time
We're
on the
in
round.
end of match procedures.
So now we are going to, so in top cut, since you cannot have draws, we're going to have to go to the end of the turn, and
Correct.
from then on we're going to count turn by turn. So let's see if Jonas can find a way to break through this. It
I
isn't
think-
necessarily easy, honestly.
Yeah, without Spinny, that is an issue for him for sure. We are going to have to see if he can find
Yeah,
the damage
because
here.
he can go for the Bale Links, then upgrade it again, since he outdrew the Sanctuary. So he can get back the Jaguar, but then what Link shoes does he play? I don't think there is anything that deals damage, is it? Maybe the Jammer, but... The thing is, he hasn't normal summon it yet, right?
He oh no, he special the
That's the
Gazelle,
big
yes.
deal.
Yeah.
So he sends back the Gazelle, he gets back the Jaguar, and now he could be normal summoning the Veiler, and I think that's what he's aiming for. Is there anything really big in the Danger Orcust in defense? Because otherwise you just go for like Phoenix and you swing with both.
I don't believe so. Horror is 1400 and Skeleton is 1500. The biggest defense would be a Jackalope, but if Tom had a Jackalope, he would have committed to a play.
Indeed. He's thinking about even just attacking with Jaguar. Honestly, that would be enough because it's 1800.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to do anything else than just attacking. Jonas wants to triple check this. The main thing he can do is upgrade it a little bit, but let's see what he wants to do.
He needs to be very careful here. Like, this
Oh,
is...
no.
It's going to link to.
Isn't... If he overlays, isn't he risking it a lot? Because he needed to use the Veiler, right? If he just swings, how does he get the second monster on board now?
I'm not sure. We're going to find out.
So
Someone says Wolf. He activates
he gets
his
it
skills.
back.
He is going to...
Wow, this is super tense. Now he gets the Sunlight Wolf. He gets back the Circle.
But Circle isn't doing anything here. He has already resolved
It
its
isn't.
effect this turn. Tom looks very amused. He's kind of like,
Oh, mine.
what are we going for here? Has Jonas
Jonas
managed
could
to
have
stall
just
his own turn?
attacked for game, and now
Oh, no.
he's actually giving the game back to
He's-
Tom. Let's see what happens.
Is this a match of misplays? I mean, it's so late in the day. It's really hard to stay focused in these sort of scenarios.
Oh, wow.
He's looking at his extra deck. He does not look pleased.
Yeah, he does not play Unicorn, so now he's in big trouble.
Yeah, Effect Failure, unfortunately, has 0 attack.
Wow, wow, what are we going to see? And
It's
yeah,
set
it seems
two.
like he didn't take
We
the
are
chance.
in sudden debt here. If Tom can find
Oh,
any
mine.
source of damage, that's game. And he has a normal summon. He's able to play the boots, or else he can play one of his
I'm not
Orcust
believing
monsters.
this. I already saw like Jonas with the trophy in his hand, to be fair, and now Thomas is getting a turn back for no reason. He can actually go for it. Let's
This
see
is
what he wants to
crazy.
do. He normal summon the Order. All he needs to do is basic a big monster and attack over it. Wow.
This is insane. I can see that perhaps Jonas was wanting to play around something like a Jackalope, because if he attacked into Jackalope there, he lost the game.
I know. But at the same time, how do you expect to win like that? You have to play to win.
Exactly.
I know Jackalope is a thing, but then Thomas really would have set the Jackalope instead of activating it on his first turn? I don't really think so.
Thomas saying, okay, we're just going to go for Phoenix.
Yes.
Phoenix effect. We're going to throw away our Phantom Knight most. Like, the Phantom Knight is an
He
attack.
just attacks,
Just attack.
and the handshake.
that's game! That
and
is
Tom
Thomas Rose.
is the new YCS champion from Düsseldorf, 3-time champion. That's incredible.
The largest YCS ever goes to Thomas Rose from the UK, and the audience are ecstatic.
Wow.
We see a bunch of the guys from the UK up here at front. That was insane.
That's insane. Orcust is the deck that won YCS Düsseldorf. Thomas Rose is now a 2-time YCS champion, 3-time champion if you include his national championship this year. That's incredible. What a match.
What a roller
weekend.
coaster of emotions.
Oh
We
my.
went back and forth. And Orcust, the deck that you really were backing for the event, and we were like,
Yes.
he threw game one away.
Oh my.
He made such a massive mistake. And then just the pressure of
the
this
pressure
position
seems to
is
be
so
insane.
massive.
Yeah.
And Jonas did such a valiant attempt.
Yeah. Wow. There is
Yeah.
no...
I mean...
I'm in shock. I'm in shock. This game was so back and forth, even more than the top four. In the top four, it was incredible.
One of the most
Now even
amazing
more.
matches in EU
wow.
history. I think Thomas Rose is one of the best people for getting memorable feature matches.
Exactly. This was incredible.
Yeah.
Such a good weekend, such a good memories, so many. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream a lot from home. We had a lot of future matches, a lot of fun, a lot of emotions, and I think it is fair for Tom. Whoever would have won this match would have been a really good deserved winner. It was an incredible weekend, an incredible event. So, I don't know. There is so much through my mind at the moment. I'm excited. I don't know what to think. So
It's just
thank
so
you.
much happening.
Thank you for being my partner for this event. I enjoyed being here. So thank you guys for watching. And let's go to the final interview for YCS Düsseldorf.
Welcome back one last time on the main event stage. We got the trophy for the winner, Thomas Rose. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Jonas. It was a wild match.
It was a back and forth between you two. You certainly put on a show. It didn't have the outcome we expected. Like, we saw both of you guys, like, your nerves getting the better of you. What was the reason?
We were both just feeling the pressure. Like, in game one, I made some huge mistakes because, like, I felt so confident with the hand that I had. I knew that there was a combo for everything that I needed there. And then I just completely choked on it. And I tried to repair it as best I could, but I ended up throwing it away completely. And then it came down to the very last game, and I was just trying to use every bit of body language that I could to convince that my set was a Jackalope. And I think I got into his head, and that was all it took in the end.
Right, so Jonas, we have perfect information because, of course, we got your opinion on this as well. You also made a big misplay towards the end. What was happening on your side?
I was like, if he has a Jackalope set, I'm gonna lose, and I rather lose to him doing stuff than like running into a Jackalope with 2K.
So is this gonna be like a match that's gonna haunt you for the next few weeks or something, or are you like, I think I made the right call given the circumstances?
I think I should have scooped earlier, game 2. He said it, and he was right. So, yeah.
But I mean, also well done to you. Great result. As far as I know, that's the best result on the grand stage we've seen you, and there's a very good chance we're going to see you again at the European Championship, and of course in that special tournament on Friday at the European Championship, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, so he has a very good chance of going to Worlds. You also have a very good chance going to Worlds. So you have this streak going for yourself. Is Worlds the ultimate goal?
Yeah, I really want to be able to come back and do more commentary, but I've told myself that I want to play so that I can get to Worlds, and I can't do both at the same time, so I'm going to keep playing until I get there.
All right. Well, guys, we also have the prize cards for you. I almost threw them into the crowd, but these guys weren't loud enough. So we got KS Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon. There's the super rare version for you. Congratulations again. and the ultra rare version. We're not going to mix them up. This is for you, my friend. All right. So, everyone, please give it up for these two great... You still got it? Okay. Please give it up one more time for Jonas Koschel and Tom Rose, the finalists, the winner, the runner-up of YCS Düsseldorf, the largest European Yu-Gi-Oh! Event in history, the second largest all over the world. Thank you everyone for making this happen. Thanks to all the players that came here, that had the patience to go to the second venue and come back today. Thank you very, very much everybody who was in the staff from the beginning of day one and who even joined our staff after they realized, hey, these guys need more help. We couldn't have done it without you, and we're going to see you all very, very soon. There's going to be European Championship. We're going to have the World Championship in Europe this year. So guys, come back. We're going to run the show, and it's going to be as much fun as this event. Thank you very much for watching.